All right, I'm going to go ahead and do a test. Let me know if you can hear me well, normal. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, now I need to just turn off the YouTube audio. Okay, we're still good with audio?
Yes.
All right, alhamdulillah. All right, let's go back here one slide. Okay. All right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina Muhammad, Khatam Rasul Nabiyyin. Jazakumullah khairan, everyone, for joining our Fall 2024 Scholarship Award Ceremony. We apologize for that little glitch. Inshallah, we'll catch up on our schedule. Today with us is our part of our review team, Brother Zafar Nasim, who's also the chairman of the organization, the chairman of the board. We have Brother Mu'tasim Saif, our fund manager, Brother Bahat Raz, a board member, and Brother Abdurrahman Farghali, also reviewer and a former board member. Today, inshallah, our agenda will be very simple. We'll talk about the significance of scholarship and knowledge in the deen. We have an invited guest speaker, Brother Muhammad Yunus. He's a professor at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County in the Department of Computer Science. After that, Brother Zafar will walk us through the Ilyas scholarship process, and we'll have introductions by our two awardees, our aspiring young leaders from Michigan and Georgia, and then we'll close with how to fund your education, inshallah. So as we know, Islam has put a very important emphasis on knowledge and seeking knowledge. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam, the very first thing he did was to teach him the names of all things. وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها ثم عرضهم على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين. He taught Adam the names of everything, and then he introduced Adam alayhi salam to the angels and said to the angels, tell me the names of these things if you know or if you're truthful. And the angels responded and said, Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. Glory be to you, Allah. We have no knowledge except what you have bestowed upon us. So very, very important principle in Islam is that the source of all knowledge in the universe stems from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Human beings do not discover anything new. They do not create anything new. We only take the knowledge that has been given to us and we build on it very small incremental improvements or developments. And all the knowledge in the universe stems from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Alim Al-Khabir, the all-knowing, the all, aware of every little detail, whether it's out in the open or it's in secret. And as Dr. Yunus, inshallah, will talk to us about the importance of knowledge and the Islamic perspective of knowledge as an act of worship. So I'll let him dive into that, inshallah, more once he joins us. But knowledge is the foundation for our deen. We cannot pursue an act of worship not knowing what it is. Like we cannot just, if someone is new to Islam, for example, they can't just copy Muslims and pray like them, not understanding what they're doing, or they cannot fast. We cannot fast or pay our zakat without the proper knowledge. We can't just say, okay, I'm gonna pay $10,000 every year my zakat because my actual zakat is probably less than that. We actually need to calculate it and know what it is. And then if we want to pay more, we know that the extra is sadaqah, it's not zakat. So knowledge is important because it's part of the niyyah, it's part of the intention. We can't just pray any time of the day. We have to know that the time for prayer has started. So that's another important principle, is that the acts of worship require knowledge, require understanding. Of course, our predecessors, our scholars, have instilled a tradition of authenticating knowledge. And we see that in the science of hadith. We see it even in memorizing the Quran. When people memorize the Quran, they refer to their teacher, who refers to his teacher, to his teacher, to the teacher that she or he learned from, all the way to the Prophet ﷺ. So we have that full connection of scholarship when it comes to the Quran, for example. So that concept of references and referring to other scholars before us who we've learned from is something very important, and it's deeply integrated into our deen. And of course, Islam encourages critical thinking and encouragement, which is a very important part of academic scholarship. Is why am I studying this piece of information? Why is it important for humanity? How does it align to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure? Is it something Allah would be pleased by me studying and learning and knowing and promoting? Or is it something that is disliked or prohibited? You know, we also need to understand where the knowledge we're seeking fits into the spectrum of acceptance and disallowance. So our deen is a deen of critical thinking, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the Quran talks about looking around us in the creation that's around us and so forth. Knowledge and scholarship has been a contributor to many of the sciences and humanities around us. As we know, the science of algebra and many other similar sciences were invented for purpose. You know, people wanted to calculate inheritance, which is again revealed in the divine revelation in the Quran. So they had to develop tools and sciences to do these needs, to accomplish those needs and so forth. And then from there, we see that the spectrum of advancements has spanned all fields of the life and so forth. Without proper knowledge and scholarship, it would be very difficult to promote peace and justice. So again, law and ethics are something that are very tightly embedded into our way of life, into our deen. And as we seek academic scholarship, we should always ensure that ethics and etiquettes and our Islamic fiqh, our jurisprudence, is kind of a part of that. And again, you know, it aligns with the message of the deen. So these are some of the points why it's important to seek academic scholarship and to seek knowledge in the context of being a young Muslim or a Muslim in general. And with that, inshallah, I'm going to go ahead and turn it to Dr. Muhammad Yunus. He just joined us. I see him here on the call. Brother Muhammad Yunus, a longtime friend of mine, and of course, a great contributor to this field of computer science and networking operating systems. He's a professor of computer science, electrical engineering at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. He received his PhD in 1997 from New Jersey Institute of Technology. He's a graduate of Alexandria University in Egypt, where he received both his bachelor's and master's degrees. He focuses on wireless communication, the Internet of Things, cyber physical systems, underwater sensor networks, fault-tolerant computing, network security, and embedded computer systems. And mashallah, his papers and research has been cited thousands of times. You can go on Google Scholar, learn more about him, inshallah, and his contributions to the field. So without further delay, I'm going to go ahead and turn it to Dr. Yunus, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thanks for the invitation, Ayman. And I would like to make it brief since I do have another commitment. But I called, Ayman asked me for a talk. I called it learning as an act of worship. And I think it's him another message, say, well, maybe learning as a service. Now, I remember now that, he told me that there are some in the meeting here are interested in computer science. And I thought, well, that would be a catchy way to look at learning as a service. Because indeed, actually, learning as an act of worship is learning as a service. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, so, even the Rasulullah sallallahu kind of like charted, for us, what is the purpose of learning? So sometimes we get carried away to look at this as, well, we need to get a degree to, determine our career, earn living or earn money, earn more money, or, live comfortably and look at it from our personal, it becoming self-centered. And, Rasulullah sallallahu was teaching us and to, through many of, of ahadith, that, Muslim is not self-centered. Muslim is, always going to be community, concerned about the community, the concept even of brotherhood and the globalization of this concept is rooted in everything in Islam. So this is actually very significant because, one thing that if you don't really realize this, it's not just a matter of you can succeed and so on, but you will be deprived from a huge, opportunity for getting rewarded. So imagine if you are studying and you have been thinking that beyond why you are studying and you have the niyyah, is you study to be more of a service to the society, service to your deen, service to your community, service to Allah, for in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this actually by itself as a niyyah, it just simply will make every moment, every effort you spend and every time effort you put actually in your scale. So and this actually is a huge, also provide huge quality as well, because the journey of learning and degrees and so on is very cumbersome. It takes lots of effort, and every one of us, if you consider, back, myself too, how much was it stressful to go through the same steps that you probably are going through now. It was, and in fact, it was more stressful for us because the education system back in Egypt is, you don't have, some flexibility here. Still you could, because you have choices and you can always, determine different options, and maybe you could, in also, because of the finances aspect, you have some flexibility and freedom. In Egypt, they did not have this much of the freedom, so it becoming even more stressful. I will confess that I never, when I was studying, I never thought about the, I was definitely, praying and so on, but the concept of putting this effort and putting the context of Islam and putting the service of Deen, I did not have it. And this is actually, I regret, obviously, I did not really have this, did not realize this, or at least it was not, instigated in the education system at the time. I missed a lot, and I could have definitely had gained because I was putting, a lot of effort in studying and so on. So this is something that I would like you to always keep in mind, that this is actually a treasure, putting that, effort, and having the niyyah, that this is actually something that will be serving, the deen, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you will be, in this case, will be rewarded for it. And one of the Egyptian scholars that is very famous, Sharawi can, sometimes it was asked, well, there are so many contributors in actually humanity, looking at those who developed things like, in medicine and inventions and things that, are so much, beneficial to society, particularly those who, contributing in the medical side of things, and even technology nowadays as well, there are lots of that is probably was serving society. And ask, well, what one was asking, one is some was a youth asked him, well, why those will, not, you cannot really say you will go to Jannah. And the answer is, well, first of all, we are not really, it's not our responsibility. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decide, who goes to Jannah or not. But for us, we know that the work that we do, the niyyah and the intention, it actually has to be the justification. So his answer very simple. For those who did that, if they are doing that for the sake of publicity, for the sake of humanity, well, that is fine. You got the rewards. We are still now remember them. People, you were mentioning the books and the history and so on. They got what they practically worked for. But he did not work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then on the day of judgment, they will cannot really ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for rewards for this effort. But for those who have this intention, again, you can get that in this life too, but when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put that in their scale. And this is something that you probably should take advantage of. So whatever the stage that you are in your career or education system, try to make this adjustment, because, well, I tell you, the learning is not something that will end up by getting a degree. You will be just keep learning. And in fact, whether you like it or not, even you are not textbook, even on the job, you will learn new stuff. Even from the experience of life, you'll learn from stuff. So you have to always keep in mind that learning is a journey that will never stop, and it will go all the way, until no one will actually leave this dunya. And we should always keep the energy and the interest in learning new stuff, because if you put that into the context that learning is a service, then again, Rasulullah was telling us that this service, you should keep contributing, even if the day of judgment is hadith I'm quoting here, that if the day of judgment came, and if one of us, as one of was planting something, Rasulullah told us to keep continue on. So in a sense, even if one is knowing that this is probably will be probably demolished very soon, then you still do that because it is beneficial. So one will always keep working and with this goal in mind, even if the end of life is quite deterministic from a knowledge point of view, because this is again service. Coming back to from a technology point of view now, so what is the when I say learning as a service, where is this analogy coming from? Is actually this was a change in the from a technology point of view. In the past, it used to be more or less centralized. You will have a big computer. You will have, as a user, will have like a terminal coming in, and then came the notion of personalized. With the personal computers, you guys are using laptops. This is not used to be. It was used even desktop. We did not have that in the early days. At least I did not have it when I was in college. Then the model changed, and then it became networked. Those computers, and the notion of cloud started to exist now, because it's becoming overwhelming with the number of individualized computers and all of that, and with the computational capabilities that is started to be provided. So it makes sense for better utilization by offering this service to others, and also the maintenance becoming easier. So the notion of infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and everything becoming more or less, you can consider this to be as if you are leasing some of those resources, and it proved to be better in terms of cost reduction, particularly for organization. And in fact, even some of us too, who's going to be buying, 10 GPUs for his computer and so on. You can always use that and, rent this, or you buy this service from a provider. So this notion came, as for all infrastructure as service, software as service, and you name it. And now, learning as a service, actually, this is instigated in our deen, and which should be also in our mind. This is the way we should pursue our degrees, and this is the way we should strive to continue, our learning journey in the future. Allah, that's all what I have to say. I return back to
Jazakallah
you,
khairan.
Ayman. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask.
Yeah, I know you have to leave. You're on the road, so let's open it up. If anyone has questions for Dr. Yunus, inshallah. I had one question. So you mentioned that pursuing knowledge is a life journey. Can you share some light as a college professor? Obviously, technology, especially in the computing field, which changes very rapidly. With the scarcity of time, how do you keep yourself up to date, and how do you adjust your curriculum in a timely fashion without compromising other aspects of your life? So I think a lot of young people these days are struggling or being challenged by balancing priorities. And when they hear us say that education is a lifelong mission, I think a lot of people, they're just alhamdulillah, we finish college, we throw it behind us, and we're not pursuing knowledge anymore or education. We're just going to focus on work and making money and, starting a family, whatever happens after that. So what are some of the skills or tips that you've been able to develop over the years, and the techniques that you use to stay up to date and balance, your needs and priorities?
Well, multiple things. Obviously, one of the things that it come naturally, working with a student for me was an educational, experience. Although I am teaching them, but also particularly from research, I learn from them too, or I learn through them. Sometimes, if you see in the beginning, you mentioned so many areas of research I work on. Some of that, it was not what I started working on. In fact, although I am now, I have a track record in networking and communication, I did not do that when I was undergrad. In fact, I did not even publish a paper until, in 4 or 5 years after my PhD on this topic. So, I have to adapt, and comes again, by what is important, which is I put in mind this is if learning as a service, then obviously what is important, particularly from research, is researchers working on problems that are important for the society. So I have to learn in order to be contributing. So this is becoming the motivation for me. And also working with the students sometimes is, as I mentioned, is good to brainstorming and discussion. It brings out different perspective, that is, was kind of like useful. I have to keep reading, keeping abreast of what's going on, even if one thinks, well, fine, I got a job. Well, actually, the job changes, and the requirement from the job changes. So even though the job needs to continue, learning. In fact, many of the corporate, they designate, learning hours as part of their benefit. So when I was in industry before university, they were designating 40 hours a year for everyone to learn. I use that time to go to conferences and so on. And this was very definitely useful learning experience because I hear what other people doing, and this helped me right away jumpstart, and becoming aware of what's going on. So it is in whether we like it or not, in the mode of operation now in the society, one cannot say, fine, I learned this, let me apply it, because the knowledge that was gained dynamically changes. There are lots of advances that comes to it. So even if one gets degree, if doesn't actually, update skills and, always see how this field is actually evolving, become obsolete and, even might just lose a job. So, definitely it's struggle. I do those different ways, but I'm just trying to say at the end, if one doesn't even do that, will be no jobs. So it's becoming more or less a requirement.
Jazakallah khairan. So the five
Yeah.
things I got out of what you just shared is learn from other generations, younger ones as well as older, of course. They have lots of wisdom. Join circles of similar-minded people. Attend events in your field or industry. Be aware of the problems in society and how you could make a contribution towards solving them. And then learning on the job. A lot of employers now have mentoring programs that they encourage employees to join. Like Dr. Yunus mentioned, learning on the job is an incentive to get promoted and advanced. So Jazakallah khair for sharing those
Yeah.
points. Before you drop, anyone else has any questions for Dr. Yunus?
Yeah, Dr. Hughes, I got a quick question. As someone who lived like his early ages at Egypt, and it's like Arabian country, I'm also from Egypt. Um, so but the question that I have is, whenever you came here to USA, with the culture difference and all the distractions, to be the place where you are right now, how did you manage to just focus on your career and not get distracted with all like the American society or all the distraction that you see like these days? So did what kept you on the right track and make you like focus and be the where you are right now?
Well, actually, it's just simply you have to go back to the mission. So why we are here in life, and if you also keep Islam as the guide for you, then it becoming, I'm not saying easy, but becoming clear. So it's clear for you what are the priorities. So if in those distractions, what you are mentioning, unfortunately nowadays it became global. I'm not really sure that even those in Egypt are spared from that too, because even with the internet and so on, you could, you can easily get distracted. So, but always keep in mind, from Islam, the teaching of Islam, why you are in this life, and what is our priorities are. That actually keep you going. And if you, being part of the community, this is becoming always a reminder. So don't stay alone. Always engage, because sometimes if you lose energy, others energize you. Always look for how to improve, even from an Islamic point of view, in addition to an academic point of view. This also will have a blessing on your academics as well, because the tawfiq is a secret. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. You could actually put an effort to get nothing, and you could put less effort and you get what you want. So what will be coming out of the as a result is in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So trying to look at those aspects along the way, keep you focused. That is what I have, at least what I have been doing.
Jazakallah khair, Dr.
Yeah,
Yunus.
yeah. I got to go, so Jazakumullah khair for hosting me, Ayman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good luck to every one of you. And, if you have any questions, reach out to me through Ayman. And, I wish you all, inshallah, successful career. And keep in mind that, make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the center of what you do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you tawfiq. Assalamu alaikum wa
Jazakallah khair.
rahmatullahi
Thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us this morning. Safe travels, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. All right, so we'll move over to the next portion of the program here. Inshallah, Brother Zafar will walk us through the Ilya Scholarship Program or process, what it's about, the ideas behind it, inshallah. And if anyone has questions, it's also another opportunity. All right, so Zafar, it's all yours.
Sure. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. And Jazakallah khairan to Brother Ayman for kicking things off, and to Dr. Yunus for his wonderful words of advice. So my job is really simple. I'm just going to go through exactly what the Ilya Scholarship Program is about. Really, the vision of the scholarship program is to empower youth and students to be active participants in their community, whether that is through upholding justice, through the promotion of good and evil, as well as being a mercy to their societies with the services that they can provide through the excellence in their careers and as such. So really, the mission of this program is to be able to provide all of these different things to the students. So really, in order to be eligible for an Ilya scholarship, there's 3 criteria that we evaluate all of our applicants on. The first is their leadership aptitude and attitude, whether the applicant has demonstrated enough leadership capability and potential, as well as a commitment to personal growth. The next is their community service inclination, so whether or not the applicant has demonstrated their leadership potential in the community setting, as well as serving communities, and how the student actively engages with the community that they're in, and how they go about engaging communities that need help. And then lastly, one of the most important things that we look at in terms of the criteria is the academic achievement. So seeing how the applicant's academic success has been demonstrated, as well as their academic records, how they have fared. So really, those are the main things. And there's several different scholarships that we offer with different purposes, fulfilling different needs that students may have. We have the Jude Johar Memorial Scholarship, the Kareem Morsi Memorial Scholarship, and the Nur Bayomi Memorial Scholarship. And all these scholarships you're welcome to go ahead and look at some more information about them at our website, scholarships.islamicleadership.org, where they'll have more information on each one of them. But in order to apply, it's really simple. You just go visit the website, scholarships.islamicleadership.org, and there will be a big, nice button where you can click to apply. There's a Google form on there, so you can fill out your information, provide the transcripts and necessary documentation, and inshallah, our team will be reviewing that, and then hopefully in the near future, we'll be awarding you the scholarship if you're eligible. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. And if anyone has any questions, inshallah, you guys are welcome to ask.
Right, great. Thank you, Zafar, for that. And if you're on YouTube, you can drop questions in the chat, on the live chat there on the channel, and we can address those. All right, moving forward, we're going to go ahead and hear from Sister Aminata first. So she will introduce herself and what she's interested in, inshallah. She also has a QR code here. I'm not sure if it's visible, but we can resend that out later if it's not scannable. All right, so Aminata, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Brother Ayman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. My name is Aminata Diop. I'm a senior studying computer science at the University of Michigan Flint. I'm originally from Senegal, and I am so grateful to be here with you today to share a little bit about my journey and goals. Growing up in Senegal as the eldest of 3 siblings, my family and I have always valued education. Education is very important, especially to me. So my father, before his passing 3 years ago, made it his mission to ensure that I would pursue higher education. Unfortunately, after his death, my family faced significant financial challenges, and my mother worked incredibly hard to support my siblings and me. But alhamdulillah, I believe that where there is a will, there is always a way. So for my interest, I'm interested in financial technology, which refers to the integration of technology into offerings by financial services companies to improve their use of financial services. This includes a wide range of applications such as mobile banking, online payment systems, and blockchain technology. With my background and ambition to bridge the technology gap in Senegal and any underdeveloped country, really, I see fintech as a powerful tool that can bridge transformative change. So for my goals, for my academic aspirations, So I'm currently pursuing my Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. My goal after graduation is to work as a software developer to ultimately become an IT project manager later in the future. I want to help build technological solutions for both my local community, as I said earlier, and the global market. So my aspirations come from there, and bridging that gap between like underdeveloped country and more developed nations. Witnessing firsthand limitations of financial services back home, I'm motivated to help create solutions that can assist people with the tools they need to fill that gap. So this scholarship is bringing me closer to achieving my dreams and the future that lies ahead. As an international student, tuition fees in America is very high, which makes it very hard for us to pay. So this scholarship reduces somehow my financial burden and gives me hope. It reminds me that we can always find a way to make it thanks to God's mercy and guidance. One of my long-term goals is to establish an organization that helps orphans and students in financial need to pursue their education. So going through this hard time here in America made me realize that there are probably many more students, many more orphans, many more young people that are experiencing the same thing. And it is really important for me to later on be able to help them as much as I can, be present for them or just give them advice or share my experience. So this scholarship is also reminding me of that and also bringing me closer to that goal. So by using technology, I believe that we can improve our communities and ensure that everyone has the information and tools they need to succeed. It helps us work together to tackle challenges and to create better future for all. It allows us to share knowledge, promote understanding, and empower each other to make positive impact in the world. Financial technology, in my opinion, can transform how we manage our resources and make it easy for individuals in our ummah to access financial services. I think fintech has the potential to greatly benefit Muslims around the world. To improve Islamic fintech, we need to make it easier for Muslim communities to access and understand. Building better digital services and providing simple financial education will help more people feel confident using these tools. Creating clear global standards for Sharia compliant finances could also build trust. Using technology like blockchain and AI for personal finance advice could also improve usability. And working closely with financial institutions and offering tailored solutions would make Islamic fintech a stronger support for Muslims around the world. Thank you again for this opportunity and for believing my potential. Jazakallah khair, everyone.
Jazakallah khairan. Aminata, thank you for that overview. So I'll open the floor to the group here, inshallah, that's on Zoom. If you have questions for Sister Aminata, anything you'd like to learn more about.
Yeah, I guess I could go first. I'm curious, when you say you want to, push change through fintech, what is something that you see missing in Senegal from a fintech perspective?
So first, I think Senegalese people are not well educated on Islamic finances, and then they are not really educated into financial technology. For example, just having like a bank account is not something that everyone has, and just using as we have here in the US, we can use our digital wallet to make transactions, or just like it's normal for everyone to have a debit card or a credit card. It's normal to everyone to use like digital wallet to make a purchase or anything like that. And in Senegal, it's not like this at all. Everybody use cash, and sometimes it's very dangerous. People are not really educated on how to use digital finances, and I really want to maybe like have create apps or have websites that can educate people about that, and can maybe push them to think more about using financial technology, basically.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Abdurrahman, for the question. Brother Zafar, did you have any questions?
No, unfortunately, not yet.
Okay, we'll move over to Brother Mu'tasim.
No, I think I'm good. I'm enjoying what they're saying. Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Behat, and then I have a couple of questions. Behat, are you there? Okay, well, Behat comes back online or unmutes. I think he dropped it, looks like. All right, so you brought a very interesting intersection of computer science and finance through fintech, right? And you mentioned Islamic finance being not very widely understood in Senegal, for example. So how do you see computer science as a domain solving that part of the problem, right? Making people more aware about Islamic finance and the permissibility of, Islamic components of finance, and the impermissibility of riba and other things that are in the global financial markets.
So I think having like platforms or software or a website that can talk more about finances to Senegalese people, maybe be in our own languages, which is Wolof, not necessarily English or French. French is the first language in Senegal, but having like a platform or a website or an application that has like interactive videos, interactive ways of learning finances can help them know more about it. Maybe advertising it using through TV shows, which is something that Senegalese people really love, can maybe push them to get more interested into that, and maybe help them understand more what Islamic finance is about.
Okay. You also mentioned your interest in IT project management. So from your experience, or what you know about Senegal or Africa in general, what are some of the challenges you've seen or heard of when it comes to project management?
I think project management is not something very known in Africa usually. in Senegal, I would say, because usually what I see in companies is like is not a position they won't hire someone in that position. Usually what they do is they just have like employees that would just do the job of an IT of a project manager, which I think, in my opinion, is not that efficient. So even when I talk about that to Senegalese people, they are like, "Why would you go for a position like that?" Because I don't see how important it can be in a company. So I think they are not really educated on that, and that doesn't make it efficient in their companies. So maybe showing them how efficient it can be to have a project manager can make them change their mind about it, and can maybe, I don't know, have a better impact on most of our companies and products.
Okay, that's great. My last question, have you thought or about the applications of fintech in farming and manufacturing in a country like Senegal? Like how it could advance other domains and industries?
No, actually, I never thought about it, but I think it will be a great thing because farming is something very popular in Senegal and it's working. So I think having fintech helping small businesses or just any business in farming, growing crops or whatever it is, I think it will be very useful for the whole country.
All right, great. Yeah, that could be something to look into. And like Dr. Yunus was saying, try to brainstorm what challenges exist in that society and how fintech can play a role in, addressing some of them. My last question, I promise, I'll piggyback on Muhammad's question earlier. What advice would you have for other international students who are still in Africa? They're considering to study in the US, or maybe they just arrived this semester, they've been here for 6 weeks or so. What would you advise them to do from your experience over the last 3 years in this country?
I would just say try to find a way to have a scholarship as soon as you can, because I know it's very hard. Try to be involved in campus life because sometimes that helps a lot, and people don't know about it. Try to make connections as soon as you can because it's very important. And try to figure out what you want to do later and work on it as soon as you get here, because that can be very helpful.
All right, those are great tips. All right, so thank you, Aminata, again. I think we'll go ahead and move over to Brother Muhammad.
Thank you.
So this, great. All right, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I want to thank everybody for everything so far and all the knowledge and experience. So a little bit about me. My name is Mohammed El Gohari. I'm from Egypt. I play basketball, and I came here to US about like 5.5 years ago. I came here through a basketball scholarship, so I'm a basketball player. I played professionally overseas, and I played for college, and I got a basketball scholarship. Again, I'm from Egypt. I'm majoring in business major. I'm graduating this winter, inshallah, and I like also do sales. That's why I choose the business major. So that's a little bit about me. So my short-term goal is to finish my degree. I graduate this winter, so I'm almost there, inshallah. And my long term is to find a secure job or to play professionally, get like a professional contract. So that's a little bit about my educational and career goals. So how by my education and getting my degree will impact the Muslim Ummah. So I wanna share this just a little bit the story. Through I came here to USA. I went through a lot of difficulties. I didn't know a lot of Muslim people here, so I went through a difficult time by myself. I didn't have enough experience or enough knowledge. So as of me finally reaching my last destiny and getting my education, I'll be able to help the young brothers that they just arrived here in USA, or help them in any different of like field and stuff. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. I haven't been in a meeting talking to people for a while, um, but yeah. But this scholarship will help me a lot, since I'm not on I'm not on a basketball scholarship no more. So so this scholarship will help me finish in my last quarter and get my educational. Um, can I? I think we passed the slide.
I think that's all, Muhammad, here. That there was one that we took out, but is there anything else you want to share? Feel free to go ahead and show them.
I don't know. I feel like I went through it really fast, but I think if you guys like ask me some questions, that will like help. Sorry, but like I just got nervous. I don't know why, but
No,
if
it's
you
good.
guys
You're
got some
good.
questions,
Jazakallah khairan. All right, so let's open the floor for questions. We'll start with Brother Zafar and then go to Abdurrahman, and then Mu'tasim after that. So Zafar, do you like to kick us off with a question or two?
Sure. Yeah. This time I do have a question. So, yeah. So, Brother Muhammad, Jazakallah khairan for your short presentation. I know sometimes we tend to get a little bit nervous with the presenting, but if you're not going to be in the situation, you're not going to get better at it. So, alhamdulillah, I'm glad that you put yourself in this and you're going through it. So, my question is, with regards to the funding. I know you have a lot of achieving your goals and stuff, and you mentioned a little bit about you wanting to pursue a professional career in sales and stuff. But is there anything else in terms of your personal goals that you see yourself achieving in maybe the next 3 to 5 years that you think that the scholarship will help you with?
yeah. So the scholarship it will help me to get like my degree, and this is something like really necessary for me to be able to achieve my goal and the knowledge that I need. Um, I want to be an entrepreneur, but before that, I wanna go to sales and work a little bit and save a little bit of money. Then I I do my own company, or do my own um, career, and by 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 getting this scholarship after 5 years of studying and finally like finishing my career, that would definitely help me like achieve my career. I don't know if I answered it correct, like the probably way or no.
Well, that was a good answer. Jazakallah khair.
All right, thank you, Zafar. Any other questions from your side, Zafar?
Nothing else. I think if something pops up with the other questions, maybe I'll chime in.
Jazakallah khair. We'll move over to Brother Abdurrahman.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Ayman. Yeah, nice to have you here, Muhammad. So I'm curious, what kind of sales do you want to do?
So I at the beginning while I was playing basketball, the coach was like giving us like a little bit of tasks, if we can sell a little bit like t-shirts or like a game tickets and stuff. And most like my teammates, they would sell like 2 3 like tickets or a jersey, And as soon as I get like a little bit ticket, I sell a lot and I come back to the coach and I want to sell like even more and more and more. And I just found myself like having fun. So starting last year, I did start like a part-time job, start selling some stuff online. I have one of my friends, he works at a dealership, like car dealership. I went over there and I started working with him and I just like had a lot of fun doing that. Um, so I think I just enjoy doing sales. And I think as soon as I get my educational, like I get my degree, I'll work at like for car dealership or some type of sales like that. I have a lot of skills doing sales, and believe it or not, I actually do have a skills like talking to people and making like friendship. I know like I got nervous like just on, but uh, I actually have like good sense for humor and talking to people and make like friends. So I think that's what I have aimed for if I don't get um, a professional basketball contract. I would go work for like a dealership and sell some cars and get like a little bit experience in that field. Then try to save a little bit of money and go to the entrepreneur world.
Have you thought about what you want to do as an entrepreneur?
So that's a really
By the
great
way, no trick
question.
question. Nobody knows. I mean, I'll tell you, I know 50-year-olds who have no idea what they want to do. They're kind of doing their own thing at the moment until they figure it out. So
Yeah,
no pressure here.
I'd be thinking about that a lot. Like I'd be dreaming, okay, what if I have like this amount of money in my bank? I'm just imagining, what if I have this amount of money in my bank right now? How am I starting this business or what I'm gonna do? But I always go through. I have one of my friends. He also like has an entrepreneur mind. Be both of us thinking about starting like a moving company that we can help people like move and also go like to the staging stuff because also he has like a degree of he's a designer. um, so we would try to build like a new moving company, help people movement, and also like do like staging and this staging, so help like furniture the houses and all that kind of stuff. So that's what like I'm thinking. If I have like like if I'm financially okay, I'll help do that. I'll go in this direction a little bit.
Well, dude, good luck. I'm excited to see what you end up doing in the future.
Hopefully, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan, both of you. Brother Mu'tasim, did you have any questions you'd like to ask or reflections to share?
Yeah, not just a question, or maybe I'm curious about why you are not gonna use the what you have gained in training for the basketball. I don't think that you share that in your vision and dreams after graduation. And also curious about if you plan to return back to Egypt with what you have studied already, or you are gonna use it for American youth Muslims beneficial after the graduation, inshallah. I'm just curious about these points.
That's a very good question. I actually I don't think I'll ever stop basketball just because I feel like basketball is just like in my blood. Um, I if I get a pro fishing like contract, that'll be good. So I can play basketball and save the money and try to achieve my goals by saving this money and try to um, invest with this money or build my own company in the future, inshallah. But if I didn't find the right pro contract that can fit me or any of that, I still want to be in the basketball field as a coach or help young brothers to either by help them teach them basketball and inshallah for in the future get a scholarship or teach them what do I learn through the years and help them with that. But inshallah, I would not intend to like leave the basketball. Hopefully, I can give some of the young brothers some of that experience.
All right, Jazakumullah khairan for that question and your response, Muhammad. We appreciate it. All right, so in closing here, real quick, for those of us who are also on YouTube, I want to share a few quick tips on how to fund your college education. So as we know, college education in this country is pretty expensive, and even especially if you're an international student, you don't get many of the opportunities that are available for residents and citizens. But there are a few things that everyone can do. Aminata mentioned connections, right? So staying engaged, especially on campus, when you arrive to your college, you want to be involved in student activities, join student groups, whether it's an MSA or student governance association or some group that aligns with your professional aspirations. Those are very important. One, for your well-being and having a social network around you, but also to connect you with people and opportunities. Today, we live in a digital world. We all should have a social media presence, especially on a platform that is a professional platform, something like a LinkedIn, for example. At Ilya, all of our interns as young as 14, we help them set up their LinkedIn accounts once they first join us and set up their resumes and professional digital footprint, because that's another way people can get to know you. And also, more importantly, you can get to know what people are working on and the affiliations they have, the interests. And there's so many professional groups out there online and in person. So you also want to attend meetups in your local city. There are a lot of platforms that you can find local events, technology events or business events, networking events. In all kinds of fields, humanities, all kinds of things. It's just so vast. So you wanna explore those connections, and some are local in your neighborhood. Some could be in big cities like Washington, New York, Chicago, etc. And lastly, look for volunteer opportunities in the nonprofit sector. You can learn a lot of soft skills, which are extremely important in your professional development, and also professional organizations. So if you are an athlete, there are organizations that promote sports management, that promote certain types of sports, and those are places that you could volunteer for helping them out in their events or as part of their planning committees or their outreach committee and so on. So those are other ways to be involved. Then comes lastly scholarships. Scholarships are so abundant. They're out there. Most people don't know about them. They don't know how to find them. There are scholarships for particular groups of people, like, for example, for women only, or for refugees, or for people who have certain GPAs, or people who, meet certain criteria, or people who don't meet other criteria. There's so many different things out there. There's a lot of literature. There's a number of really good books on scholarships or reference books. You can probably find them in your local library in probably every state, I would imagine, of this country. It has basically a database of scholarships and grants and competitions and prizes. There's so many opportunities for young people out there. They could start as little as, maybe $100 a competition to design a logo for an event or a race or something in the community that a small organization is promoting, all the way up to $20,000 and $30,000 scholarships. I've seen and known people who got 20 grand scholarships from corporations because they were able to convince the review committee that they have something of interest to the mission of that organization. So check these resources out. They're out there on the internet. You can definitely get engaged with Ilya, and through our internship program, you can learn a lot more about these things, and we can help you even apply to them. But do not take it for granted that you have to pay out of pocket. There are some, cases here and there that you might need to, but generally speaking, I know one sister who went to med school completely on scholarships. She's from Baltimore, and I think she went to Columbia University in New York, and her entire education was funded through one scholarship after the other. But she did her homework. If you're a college student, I would say in this day and age, if you're giving 40 hours of work to your schoolwork, take 1 hour every week, and that would be your scholarship application hour. You read the opportunities, you go through the criteria, and you apply. And it's just part of what you do every week. So those are some quick ideas, inshallah, before we close. Again, I want to thank our review committee for taking the time. I know almost all of you are college students. You have midterms and are very busy, and may Allah reward you all for giving the time to go through the applications and score them and be with us this morning. I also want to thank Brother Mu'tasim, who's been instrumental in helping the process go smoothly and work it out. And of course, our two applicants for taking the time and applying. Congratulations on the award. You'll get a letter, inshallah, or an email the next day or two about next steps, inshallah, and how to receive your awards. So with that, we will conclude here. You can stay connected with us through our website, islamicleadership.org, if you are on YouTube and you have any questions for the group. Jazakumullah khairan, and everyone enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you.
Thank you.